Hey, I'm Tshaka Armstrong, and I today am going to be the announcer for yet another fight. A battle between two excellent mid-tier phones. I can't even barely call this one myself, but I'm gonna put it all out there for you, and you can decide which one you think is the winner. I, of course, kind of have my favorite between these two, but both of these two are phones that you cannot go wrong with. Today, we're taking a look at the Nord N10 5G from OnePlus versus T-Mobile's REVVL 5G, which is a TCL rebranded phone sold by T-Mobile. Let's get into it. First off, we're going to take a look at displays. You really get a beautiful display out of both of these devices. The REVVL 5G is going to give you an LCD with 2340 by 1080 at 395 pixels per inch. So that is a display that is also going to include their next vision technology. It's HDR10 certified, so you get that as well. The Nord N10 5G is 2400 by 1080, slightly higher resolution, 406 pixels per inch, so it has a higher pixel density, which means text may look sharper, although at 395 and 406, I doubt you're really going to be able to see the difference between the two in terms of that. The upside for the Nord N10 5G is it does have a 90 hertz refresh rate as opposed to the 60 hertz refresh rate of the REVVL. So in displays, the Nord is going to slightly edge out the REVVL 5G, but only very slightly. So then let's get to the battery life. Battery life on these phones is actually comparable as well in most areas except for one. So with the REVVL, you're going to get a 4500 milliamp hour battery. With the Nord N10 5G, it's a 43 milliamp hour battery. But this one on the Nord is going to charge up quicker because it has 30 watt fast charging with a 30 watt charger in the box. So battery life, or as I like to call it, overall quality of battery life, the quality of life, I think is going to be a little better with the Nord N10 5G because of the adapter you get in the box and that faster charging. Next up, they both actually have a 3.5 millimeter port. The REVVL 5G has it on the top. The Nord N10 5G has it on the bottom. So you do get a 3.5 millimeter port, yay. Beyond that, the audio output on both of these phones is stellar. They both have dual stereo speakers, so that's a wash. And then the pricing between the two is really where you're going to see a difference. The Nord N10 5G is phenomenal a phone as it is for a mid-range, entry to mid-range phone. This is going to cost you only $300, and I've seen it as low as $256. The REVVL 5G is currently $400 on T-Mobile's network, so you're going to pay more for this phone. And on price alone, I think the Nord N10 5G definitely edges out the REVVL 5G, because if I can get a phone that edges out in a couple areas and get it $100 to $150 cheaper, I'm gonna go with that phone. So that's gonna be the tail of the tape between these two in terms of hardware. Now let's dip over to the workstation here and look at the quality difference in some photos. So we're now at the work desk here. Let's jump right into it. So on the left-hand side, you've got the REVVL 5G. On the right-hand side here, you have the Nord N10 5G. And we're gonna start off with night mode photos. As you see here on the REVVL 5G on the left, you actually have a photo that looks sharper, looks like it has better contrast. Lighting is a little better. This photo from the Nord is definitely darker. They're both soft, really, but if you have to pick between the two, for me, I'm gonna look here and say that the REVVL 5G wins in this night mode shot over the Nord N10. And then what about that front-facing camera? On the REVVL 5G, you've got a lot of smoothing, compensation for night mode, and so the photo is very soft. The Nord N10 5G, the front-facing camera, gives you a sharper image with better details, and it isn't smoothing so much and overcompensating for night mode. So between the two photos, the front shooter on the Nord N10 5G looks better to me. And one last night mode photo, this Chevron gas station. Really the tale of the tape here is going to be in the sharpness of the letters when we blow them up. And we'll see how they handle that. Slightly better is the Nord N10 5G, in my opinion here. It is a little more crisp. And again, by a hair. It isn't night and day, but definitely a little more crisp with a little bit better contrast in that photo. So let's get into daytime, because all cameras these days pretty much take pretty good photos when you have good light. This was in direct sunlight. The sun was beating on these flowers. I mean, it was harsh. So they actually both did a pretty good job given how harsh it was. Neither photo is all that super sharp. The colors on the Nord N10 5G are a little truer to life than the ones on the REVVL, but again, on this display, on a 5K display, neither of these photos are amazing. They're both solid photos, and they're gonna look good on a smaller display, but they're okay. This photo actually is stunning, love it. And when you blow into this photo, when you crop in, you still see a good amount of detail on both cameras. This is, again, the REVVL 5G, the Nord N10. I like the REVVL's photo here better. The colors are a little more saturated. It looks a little nicer. The colors here are a little more washed on the Nord N10 5G. So this is an overall, for me, a more pleasing picture. If you like flatter, then the Nord N10 5G is probably gonna be the one you'll like more. And here's the wide angle on both cameras. As you can see, they both have some artifacts. They both have some noise in the photos when we get up here into the telephone wires. So we're gonna look at that. And then when you blow them up a bit, when you crop into them, you'll see that they both are soft, although the REVVL 5G actually gives you a little more clarity in that photo. So, and then let's round home base and let's look at the front facing camera in some harsh conditions. Sun directly in my face. It was shining quite bright, as you can see here. And you can see how both handle the highlights. In my cheeks over here, the Nord N10, I'm sorry, the REVVL 5G on this left side, it definitely washed me out. It blew out here in the highlights. It's definitely blown out. The Nord N10 definitely handled the highlights better in this case. It didn't blow out the highlights where that sun was just really pounding in my face right there. But the black levels, the REVVL 5G handled in my beard a little better than the Nord N10. So let's also look at the portrait mode with both of these. Neither of these did a great job with portrait mode. As you can see here along the top of my head, up here, you see where the portrait mode didn't quite do a good job of cutting it out. And the same thing here with the REVVL 5G. So it's a wash with both of these cameras in terms of the portrait mode and the front-facing shooter. So as you can see, I don't think there's any clear-cut winner with either the cameras on the Nord N10 5G or the REVVL 5G, which is actually saying a lot because OnePlus has been around a lot longer in terms of making their own phones than TCL has been with their Pro line and with this REVVL 5G that went to T-Mobile. So you can also think of this as Verizon has a 10 5G UW. So the fact that TCL is able to keep up with OnePlus, who's been in the game a lot longer, that says a lot. And that is the battle. Which did you like? Which one takes the cake? Which one takes the victory for you? One of the things that I didn't go into in great detail about these phones, one of my favorite things about the REVVL 5G is the back. I like the back more on the REVVL 5G with this smoky magenta back. It is really cool. But I like the Nord N10 5G's operating system, Oxygen OS. I actually absolutely love Oxygen OS. It's one of my favorite user interfaces on a phone. The amount of customization is deep. It is just a great overall interface. So I think for me in this battle, by a hair, by a margin, and mostly based on price, it's going to be the Nord N10 5G, but these are both stellar phones at this price point. They're both really good devices, really solid devices, and I don't think you'll go wrong with either one. I think you'll be happy with either purchase. I'm Tshaka Armstrong for reviews.org. I don't take it lightly that you spent your time watching with us. I will catch you on the next video.